How did you meet Stanley Pemberton, and what were the early days of your collaboration like?
Bobby Davis and I met Stanley Pemberton in 1973 through Winston Francis, aka Billy Cole, who was recording for Stanley's Workhouse production at the Workhouse Studios in Old Kent Road, owned by Manfred Mann and Mike Hug. Workhouse Productions already had singles by Alton Ellis and Ken Parker released on A&M Records, and Extra Careful by Billy Cole released on Power Exchange Records.
What kind of music were you recording at that time, and how did Chain Reaction come about?
Bobby and I started recording some songs written by Mike Hug with Stanley, namely Cold Steel and Quicksand, with Bobby on lead vocals, and I sang lead on Hogtied and Make It. During that time, Stanley was also recording Bruce Ruffin. Stanley suggested that we became a trio instead of being solo acts. It was decided that we would use the 4 tracks recorded by Bobby and I and see if we could get a deal with a record company. Stanley spoke with Davis Howells and Derek Everett at Gull Records, and a deal was signed for an album with Stanley naming the trio Chain Reaction. Stanley also had a Eugene Paul single called Try It, You'll Like It on Gull Records.
Tell us more about your experiences at Gull Records and what impact it had on you.
Gull Records at the time was associated with Morgan Studios located in Willesden, northwest London, where we finished recording the album entitled Indebted to You, with Bobby, Bruce, and I sharing lead vocals. A first single, Never Loose, Never Win, was released, followed by the album Indebted to You with moderate success. Bruce decided to leave in 1977, leaving Bobby and I with Stanley. Between 1977 and 1979, we recorded 2 reggae albums, Change of Action and Chase a Miracle, which was released on our own Congress Productions label.
In 1979, things seemed to expand around that time. Can you tell me what was happening during that period?
In 1979, Stanley put together Tin Cansfield, guitar, Roy Davis, Errol Reed, keyboards, Trevor Murrell, drums, and Randy Hope Taylor, bass, and myself, vocals. We went into Village Way Studios in Pinner, Middlesex, and recorded some songs. In August 1979, we went into Marcus Studios in Westbourne Grove, W2. We occupied Studio 2 while Gonzalez occupied Studio 1, recording a new album with Tim Cansfield, Roy Davis, Trevor Murrell, Huey Bullen as the rhythm section, and McKinley Jackson as arranger, whose work includes Freda Payne's Band of Gold. Gonzalez was signed to EMI Records. Stanley started seeking interest from various record companies for the Congress album. Stanley received interest from Neil Bogart's Casablanca Records in the States and Mountain Records in the UK. Neither deal materialized, so Stanley decided to release a couple of singles by Congress on the Congress Productions label. We also recorded some Chain Reaction tracks, which are finally being released on vinyl.
And what happened next with your recording career in the 1980s?
In 1980, we recorded some tracks at Point Studios as Cargo with Mike Carr replacing Errol Reed on keyboards. A first single, Holding On, was leased to EMI Records. Upon release, it was well received in the UK, Europe, and the USA. A second single, Tender Touch, was released on WEA Records. In 1984, an album was released by Cargo entitled For Export Only.
And how did things evolve later on in that decade?
In 1984, we started recording new Congress and Gonzalez albums at PRT and Abbey Road Studios after agreeing a production agreement with Tutti Frutti Cha PRT Records. We had some singles on both Congress and Gonzalez released before PRT as a record company ceased to exist. Stanley relocated to the Caribbean in 1989, spending some time, and everyone got involved in various projects. Stanley came back in 2008. Finally, in 2023, Stanley and Randy got together and decided to record a new Chain Reaction album with Bobby, Randy, and I sharing lead vocals. Sadly, during the recording of the album, our brother Bobby passed away. We stopped work on the album for a while. After some soul-searching, we decided that we should complete the album in honor of our dearly departed brother Harold George Davis, also known as Bobby Davis, Dago Sensations. The new Chain Reaction album is entitled Peace, Love, and Understanding.
love song. A simple love song.